I tell you, we are fucked. As you remember yesterday's chapter, or the other day's chapter, or whenever you managed to get a hold of this video, we ended up witnessing what was inside the shed, and we found out that our two accomplices that wanted to get involved with learning the secrets of the past of Hinamizawa, they were found dead. Our photographer friend, Tomitake, was found clawed, the same as the previous storyline. He ended up found on the side of the road with his throat clawed out as if he suicided. Self-inflicted and all that. But we also got word of Emio Takano, the person who really loved these kinds of sick little stories, who went into the shed. She was found burned alive in a barrel covered in oil. And I think the other two perpetrators, the people knew. Somebody knows that me and Shion were in there. And I think that since two people died, especially for this heinous crime, us two might be the ones that ended up disappearing, as per the norm when the Watanagashi festival happens. Because you know how that story goes. Someone dies, someone disappears. And it might be that we too might disappear. There was no way I'd be able to sleep. When she hung up the phone like that, I realized the first time what kind of situation I was in, as well as who the only ally who would support me was. I waited with bated breath for Shion to calm down and call me back. What would I do if the phone rang while I was sound asleep? No matter how long I waited, it never rang. Exhausted, whether my mind started to wander, I would jolt awake as though I heard the phone ring. In the end, I would have brought the cordless phone with me into my futon and went to sleep with it in my arms. Though it still didn't amount to anything. Morning came by, and about the time, I was pretty sure she wasn't going to call back. That was when a fierce drowsiness assailed me. Damn it, no time for sleep. I slapped myself in the face a few times. I went to the washroom and washed my face, something I usually don't do. It wasn't enough either, so I even brushed my teeth. After that, I was finally wide awake. When Mom saw how strange I was acting, her eyes went wide. What's wrong, Keiji? Are you going somewhere today? Going somewhere? Yeah, to school. Keiji-kun, you don't look so good today. Did you have a cold? I'm not sick, I just didn't get much sleep. If I space out and start talking nonsense, just humor me. I wonder what kind of nonsense you'll say. I wonder. Now I'm looking forward to it. I felt utterly shattered and still hadn't picked myself back up this morning. And for precisely that reason, Rena's honest smile was a sight for sore eyes. Yo, what's up, Kei-chan? Rena, good morning. What? Oh, Mi-chan! You look like you didn't get much sleep either. Miyana got home yesterday with a hangover, but she didn't look too good this morning either. Her usual cheerfulness was completely buried in a shadow. Yeah, I went to bed at like 3. I'm a little tired. 3? Hey now, you can't keep staying up that late. You'll probably read the first volume of a manga. Thought it would be interesting to read the entire series, did you? What do you take her for, an otaku? I understand. I've done that before. Oh, so Rena's the otaku. You're an awfully cute one for that. Oh, wait, I said that. Whoopsie! I joked, trying to shake off the sleepiness, trying to be considerate. But neither Mia nor Rena smiled. In fact, they didn't even pay attention. Rena's expression immediately darkened. What? Wait, is it about the mayor? He still hasn't been found? Nope. Wait a minute. What are you talking about? You can't find the mayor? Even the classroom, which was normally bursting with bright, joking voices, seemed to feel a different sort of murmur today. Good morning, Keiji. Have you guys heard? Something terrible's happened. I don't really know this mayor person, but he's someone old, right? Could you just be wandering around senile and all that? The mayor is certainly not senile. He's a sprightly man who can teach both calligraphy and swordsmanship. He probably got lost somewhere like me. A lost Rico! I want to take you home with me. Can we not? Getting lost is only cute because children like Rika could do it. But a worn-out man getting lost? It's not even Bowie in the slightest. While my mind entertained dumb thoughts like that, the teacher arrived. Everyone rushed to their seats. Good morning, everyone. The class greeting was normal, but the atmosphere in the room was very heavy. Some of you may have already heard, but last night, despite the late hour, the mayor never came home. Is there anyone here who saw the mayor yesterday? 1 or 2 hands went up in silence, and they told her about having seen him. None of it seemed to be vital information, however, and everyone began whispering among themselves. If anyone has seen the mayor, please tell an adult about it, alright? Now then, let's begin class. After that, the same old lessons began. The rumors, once quiet, had blossomed in flowers again at lunchtime. I could hear a few different conversations, mostly related to the mayor's disappearance. Summing them all up, I came out with... Yesterday evening, the mayor went to a meeting at the Shrine's Assembly Hall. The meeting ended after the sun had set, and everyone left. The elder's house was a bit far away from the center of Hinamizawa. It was already late, and Hinamizawa doesn't have a lot of lights. Nobody saw the mayor after the meeting. However, because he would be hungry, he wouldn't have taken any side trips. He would have gone straight home. However, no matter how long his family waited, he never returned. Some thought there might have been an accident. They left no stone unturned. They searched from the irrigation channels to the water wells and even in the rice paddies, but none find him. Of course, there was a limit to how far they could search in the middle of the night. The police were going to wait for daylight, then have young men in the town help search. If after all that they still didn't find him, they apparently even going to go looking in the mountains. Even now at this moment, the adults were probably all searching for him. The more they searched in vain, and the more time passed, the only thing that came to mind was the curse. The rumors of Onikakushi, the demoning away. Had he become this year's sacrifice to Oyashiro-sama's curse, which had recently been occurring every year? The scary possibility which everyone thought about, but nobody could say aloud, was slowly but surely spreading throughout the village. Was he demoned away and offered as a sacrifice to quell the anger of Oyashiro-sama? My classmates were whispering to each other that the curse didn't happen, so there shouldn't be any sacrifices. I, on the other hand, knew. The curse did happen, and 2 people died. Might sound strange, but I haven't exactly thought the elder would be the one to go missing. My reason was clear. Shio and I should have been a higher priority. The 4 of us were thieves that broke the taboo and set foot into a sacred ritual storehouse. If Toмотaki and Takano suffered mysterious deaths, it should have been mine and Shion's turn next. This time should have been Shion and me, eh? I laughed painfully to myself. I'd yell at Shion over the phone that I didn't want to end up in such a terrifying situation, but now that someone other than me had disappeared, I could only think that I should have been the first to go. Onigafuchi, the bottomless swamp, said to have been the place where they drowned sacrifices long ago. Just as I ran through my thoughts, the villagers must have considered it a swamp. Many bee police divers will be able to plumb to deaths even now. They probably wouldn't find anyone. Not a single missing person had ever found. They always suspected that Onigafuchi, but not once had they ever turned up a corpse from it. After all, a devilish bottomless swamp from which no one who sinks can return. I could hear someone telling that friend that in the classroom. Now that you mention it, Satoshi-san left around this time last year, didn't he? Satoshi? I've heard the name before, right? He disappeared because of last year's curse. The conversation was happening in the seat next to me, so I could have heard it clearly. Didn't we search the whole village like this for Satoshi? We didn't find him either. What did we decide it was? A demoning away? Yeah, I heard he withdrew all his savings and ran away from home. Someone from the police said there was someone who saw him get on a bullet train at Nagoya Station. Ran away? I wasn't that interested in the reason, which seems understandable in the case. Everyone else who disappeared had their own reasons too. Either they were still on the run because they were criminals, or they were a corpse that couldn't be found. Not like any of them suddenly disappeared into thin air for no reason. But they disappeared, all right. Someone disappeared, whether the curse took a life as if by design. They may have had various understandable reasons, but they still disappeared. From that point of view, it really might have been a demoning away this time. The mayor's disappearance was the first such incident without a clear reason behind it. Of course, coming to that realization didn't help to resolve anything. It looks like I messed up the seasoning, Tay. Sorry. Normally, Renner would have devoured her lunch immediately, but today there was still a ton left. It wasn't because lunch didn't taste good or anything. That isn't the case. Your lunch today is as delicious as always. Satoko dips her chopsticks into Renner's spinner box and puts bits of food one after the other. Delicious indeed. Today in particular, in fact. Chomp, chomp. You know, those are pumpkin croquets, right? Are you okay? Yes. If it's your pumpkin, it's delicious. Does Sadako dislike pumpkin? Oh, regardless, she forced herself to smile and shoved more into her mouth. Everyone knew. Nobody's lunch tasted good today. Sadako kept shoveling it down, repeating her remark on how good it was. If it's that good, I guess I gotta have some. Sadako's gonna eat it all if we let her. It's just so good. I'd certainly like it if Keiichi were to eat some as well. Well, sometimes I have to show my adult generosity, right? Don't hold back on my account. Eat enough for the both of us today. She really, really hated pumpkin, didn't she? That made it all the more touching to see Sadako's own brand of generosity. I grabbed her head, and I started stroking it. Sadako, in a somewhat exaggerated fashion, was bawling. Tears streamed down her face. No way. You'll never grow up if you give away such good food. Rena, you eat too. I only have leftover vegetable soup, but it tastes great after having sat overnight. Yeah, the daikon radish had such a pretty color. It was delicious. I guess I'll have some. Rena reached out with her chopsticks, and at last the usual lunchtime atmosphere began to return. That was only at our desk, though. The dark tales of Oya Shirasama's curse, which occurred for 5 years in a row, it didn't cease. The whole classroom remained stuck in a somber mood. Oya Shiro's curse had happened for 5 years straight. Everyone had wanted the previous year to be the last. What was Oya Shirasama's curse anyway? They were going to build a dam in Himizawa, and the people building it were bad, so they were cursed. I would admit that much. Still, the dam project was frozen years ago, so why wasn't the curse stubbornly persisting? I hit myself on the cheeks to perk myself back up. Everyone was trying so hard to brighten the mood, I couldn't go straight back to thinking about the curse like that. I forced the grim story out of my head, Driving Oishira's curse out of my thoughts was a good idea. In the end, it means I would also be driving away the most terrifying thought of all, that I could be its next target. Mion's taking a while, isn't she? How long does it take to wash her hands? Mion had said she was going to wash her hands and left, and she hasn't come back yet. She's probably taking a little afternoon nap somewhere. I think she was up pretty late last night looking for the mayor. I smiled wryly and let out a sigh. Today wasn't good. However much we tried to lighten the mood, things always came back to the mayor. It was just a no-good day. I had just transferred here recently, so the shock of a curse happening for 5 years running was an unimaginable one. Maybe I do need to appreciate that. When Min-chan was really little, the mayor would always spoil her. When she was going through her prankster phase, he loved her like his own daughter. She told me that often. I see. Mion was in shock. Someone disappearing at all because of a curse? That's a scary thing. If the sacrifice was someone you knew, then the shock must have been 100 times worse. Sadako, if she'd come to the conclusion, bit her lower lip and looked downward. Rika's taking a while too. Maybe they're taking a nice afternoon nap together.
This is what's really upsetting me!
Rika wasn't out that late. As soon as she yawned, everyone gathered around her and started saying goodnight. Now that she mentioned it, there were a lot of old people rubbing their prayer beads in fervent gratitude towards Rika during the festival. An image of an indulgent elderly came to mind. Had Rika discovered a way to get herself to be pampered like that? Is there a reason the old people treat Rika-chan like an idol? Is she their ideal image of a granddaughter or something? I don't know anything about that, but I want to see Rika-chan yawning. It's probably I just want to take her home. I don't personally think that'll be cute. More of a why when she opens her mouth really light, so I can see probably the back of her throat or something. Her throat, the thing in the throat. Oh, wobbly, wobbly. Rena's hand at times like these. I finally managed a heartfelt laugh. Oh right, I'm on day duty. I need to go water the flower garden. Garden's outside the teacher's lounge. They can immediately tell if you don't do it. I think Satoko-chan is cute. Not only Rika-chan. You I can't breathe. Can't breathe. I got a quiz. It's so cute. Satoko-chan's cute too. I'm gonna take you home. She was squeezing her hands around Sadako's neck. I was trying to get a good look at her throat. You know, Rena's... I can't say it now, but she's a notorious censored, isn't she? Hearing Satoko make a weird noise like a chicken being strangled was kind of hilarious, but I couldn't help but laugh. At some point, the classroom had erupted into laughter too. Maybe Rena was doing it on purpose. Even if she wasn't, this nonsense was a welcome sight. But anyway, I might as well get to the flowers while I still have the time. Slowly and quietly, lest I destroy the room's newfound peace, I left the classroom. The watering can was hanging up outside the kitchen. The building had originally been an all-male forestry service building, so it was apparently nothing so thoughtful as a garden here before. When they decided to have a school share the space, they built one there as a modest gesture of appreciation. But the flower bed is a little longer than you expect. It went all around, all over the place. So big, well, we need to refill the watering can 5 or 6 times to get it done. I was doing this together with a kid who was also thankfully on day duty that day. She was in the lowest grade and a full size smaller than Rika. I couldn't make a kid who was struggling just lift a full watering can help me with this. For this, if one was placed on day duty with someone one liked, they'd do it all for you, so it'll be a piece of cake. No point in blaming her. I give up. I'll just get started. Watering can in hand, just as I was about to leave the building, the old man from the forestry office addressed me. Sonny, there's a vegetable garden behind the water house, right? It's just about dried up. Water that too, would you? Oh, you mean the curry vegetable garden? The one with potatoes and carrots and all the other stuff? Definitely the personal garden of our curry-loving teacher, bud, making students responsible for his upkeeping and is getting them involved in their personal affairs. I couldn't say that to his face, though, so I gave up and just decided to carry out the day duties. The sunlight out front was strong. The great chorus of cicadas was strongly underlining how nothing was different today than yesterday. I passed by the classroom, as I didn't know how it happened, but Rena and Sadako were in the middle of a huge melee. While I was gone, the kids have arranged all the desks in a circle, forming a ring while everyone cheered them on. That's how it should be. Once school ended... Oop, I accidentally did it again. Once school ended, we needed to return to reality, where talk of the elders' disappearance would once again be all over the place. I wanted everyone to forget about everything and have fun, just like yesterday, if only while they were at school. In that sense, Satoko's whirling elbow and Rena's backwards flying spin kick made for a pleasant sight. Even if as a result they flipped over him at his desk. Ah, my pencil box! I'll just let it happen. I set to work, hastily watering everything, wanting nothing more to be done as soon as possible. That should about do it. No sooner than I thought that I remembered I had to water the teacher's curry garden. That's such a pain, but I have a feeling that it'll come back to bite me if I didn't. So I gave up, I filled the can with water, and headed behind the warehouse. This was the place students didn't like to go. Always damp here, and you couldn't discard the possibility of slugs and pill bugs being around. So when I ran across her in a place like this, I was surprised. Rika, don't scare me like that. Rika was just standing there like a puppet, devoid of life. I was the only one who was startled here. Rika didn't even seem to react to my appearance. Rika? Finally, she noticed me. Her expression was clearly abnormal. There was red under her eyes, stained with tears and dirt. There were blades of grass stuck in her hair, and clothes looked as though she had fell to the ground. Rika, are you hurt? Did you fall? No, that isn't it. Rika-chan said it in the brightest voice she could manage as she rubbed her eyes. She didn't look anywhere near normal, though. What happened? You weren't sleeping on the storehouse roof and then fell off, did you? Don't worry about me. I have something I want to ask you. She walked over and clung to me. At first I thought she was going to play a trick on me. Eventually, however, I realized it was so that I wouldn't run from the question she was about to ask. What did you want from me? She looked straight into my eyes. Her upturned eyes bore right into me. It was as though they were trying to pull the answer out of my own eyes without asking me the question. It was scary, so I averted my gaze. Keiichi, did you do something bad on the night at the festival? Son of a bitch! My body gave a jolt from the very core. Rika, clinging to me, might have felt my shiver. A nervous tingle crawled up from my feet, and after going up my back and freezing my entire body, it made its way into the brain. Keiichi, do you really not remember? My head began to throb, but I don't understand anything anymore. Mion, Oishi, Shion, and now Rika was asking me. It's 4 fucking people in a row. We thought nobody knew about what we did last night, but is everyone knowing this? They all knew when they came to ask me again and again until I admitted it. When I thought about it, it was pretty clear the whole thing was out in the open. After all, don't Tomotage and Takano's deaths prove it? Keiichi, how am I gonna respond? We never should have entered that storehouse, and even though I regretted it so much, was she saying it wasn't enough? I had all but decided I was going to say. I'm not exactly a good kid, you know. I've done lots of bad things. I can't remember anything specific. Just as I had with all the others, I evaded questions. Rika stared up at me with innocent eyes. Her eyes were so painful that I had to look away. After a few moments of mutual silence, Rika released me. I'm sorry for asking you something strange. You and 3 others! Please forget about it, she said, smiling her usual smile. Then tap, 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 she went running off as if nothing happened. As she retreated in silence, I could feel her accusing me. Rika-chan? If she didn't hear my voice, I was going to give up, but she heard it. She swiveled around and waited for me to continue. I was the one who had questions now. Asking any of them could just be a half-assed way of omitting it. Rika, what is it? If everyone knows, I should be able to at least ask, right? Why is everyone asking me about the night of the festival? That evening, had I done something that wrong? I feel bloody sorry about it, and I only looked anyway. I didn't break anything. I didn't steal anything. Honest. Still, those two, they died so miserably. Since those two had come to such an end, there was obviously no way it would forgive me. She cutely tilted her cat in confusion, waiting for me to say something. If I were to admit what happened that night, she might suddenly do a 180, flipping a switch. You know, that wouldn't make sense. Rika was the Shrine Maiden. She's the least likely to forgive me for breaking the taboo, wasn't she? Upon reflection, wouldn't tell her be more like terrifyingly than telling, you know, either of those people? She could just give up and leave, couldn't she? She didn't. She only was quietly waiting for me to say it. Just say it, Keiichi. If you really are sorry, say so. It's normal to hesitate, given the crazy way those two died. A pulping machine called Chaos was grinding my brain. The juice wrung out of it, turning into big droplets of sweat that began to fall. Keiichi, she suddenly straightened up, trying to pat me on the head. I don't really understand what you're worried about, Keiichi. I have nothing to say to that. I lowered my head a little so that her palm could reach it. She petted me like one would a cat. Do you know about the big storehouse a little way behind the shrine grounds? It stores the implements used for rituals. My breath literally stopped. She wasn't acting in a coerced way at all. Apparently on the night of a festival, a cat snuck into the storehouse. A cat? Yeah, a cat.
They go meow meow like this.
She knew. She realized I was in fear. I could tell she was desperately trying to choose the right words so that she wouldn't scare me. The cat always wanted to explore the inside of the storehouse, but I was mean to it and never let it go inside. So on the night of the festival, the cat couldn't hold itself back any longer and went in. The cat? Clearly it's supposed to be Takano. Or was it supposed to be me? Inside there were actually lots of things that could scare the cat. She made a cute gesture like a ghost was trying to come out to frighten me. The cat was both terrified and amazed. It ran away as fast as it could. Clatter, clatter, shiver, shiver, meow, meow. It was terrible. Who are you saying it was? The cat is a cat. Meow, meow. She still avoided saying it. The cat, without a doubt, must have been me. Rika, please tell me. The cat. What should it do? Maybe it was a desperate question to ask. I've sort of admitted to being the cat. The cat is just a cat, so it'll just keep meowing and everything will be fine. Everything will be fine? That's kind of ridiculous, isn't it? Shouldn't it just keep meowing? Jeez. Rika and I have put together an entire conversation using cat as a code word. I didn't say it directly. But I've already admitted to it. I didn't want to end up like those two. I didn't want to be a sacrifice, like Xian said. That's what I thought, so I simply remained silent. But now that's enough. It can't just keep meowing. The dog saw the cat making mischief sneaking inside. The dog? Right, it was the dog. Keeps coming to the cat and trying to get it to say that it snuck inside. After I said it, her expression clouded. She was trying to hide it, but I already noticed her eyes darkening. Rika? The silence was frightening, so I spurred her on. At that point, Rika grinned. It's alright, I'll protect the cat. I thought for a moment I had misheard those words. So dependable they were. The cat is really scared, but the reason isn't all that bad. I think all the dogs are just misunderstood. It's not all that bad. The cat is worrying too much. I'll do something about it for sure. Rika will do something about it? I don't even know left and right at the moment. Rika didn't look all that dependable. It might be hard, but I'll do my best. Go for it. Yay. She clenched her fist and stuck it in the air. She said that the cat can just keep meowing. She said to leave it all to her. Is that really all it took to resolve this whole thing? Will you really be alright, Rika? If I don't do my best, something bad could happen to the dogs too. No idea what Rika was talking about anymore. She's been talking to me under the assumption that I was aware of certain things. So at first I understood her. Around the middle, I stopped understanding at all. But one thing I did know. Not worry. Leave it all to her. She straightened up once again, patted me on the head and smiled. I was so moved by that reassuring feeling that I couldn't help but start crying. I'm sorry. The cat is just a little bit of mischief. I didn't think anything of this would. It's too much of a scaredy cat. That's why I should never have seen the storehouse. She was right. Far too shocking for someone to see based on a little bit of interest alone. That's why they made it so difficult to look at in the first place, wasn't it? Rika, what would happen to the cat? Two of the cats that snuck in. I'd heard those two deaths were being kept a secret. Rika might not know about it. Tomataki and Takano? I gave a start at the sudden mention of actual names. Though it's weird to do that at this point. You should forget about them. My spine froze again. Forget? Yep, it won't do any good to remember those two, Keiichi. The more you think about it, the scarier it'll get. You forget about them as soon as possible. She said something so enormously terrifying without letting the smile on her face waver at all. I don't know where you heard that from, but you should forget everything. Make your mind as clean as a scrub bathtub. Forget? But you don't you? You know how those two, no matter how they died, it has nothing to do with you. She could declare this in a flat voice. Nothing to do with me. So forget about it. She was innocent and lovable and even seemed trustworthy, but suddenly she took on a different dimension. Don't get involved. I'll help you. Those two contradictory statements twisted and distorted my image of this girl in front of me. What about Xian? What will happen? It might have been dangerous to mention her name, but I couldn't stop myself from asking. She saw through everything anyway. No way I was going to fool her or keep anything from her at this point. The younger of the sister cats? Meow meow? Yeah. The little sister cat. She appeared to think upon this for a moment. Hard for me to endure even this momentary silence. The big sister cat is angry. The little sister cat did something bad, so she's really mad. Big sister cat. That could only be Mion. I recall being questioned by her yesterday. Keiichi, the big sister cat is not in a good mood at all. I think we should leave her alone for a while. Not in a good mood. Those sent a shiver through me. Mion is mad as hell. She was mad that we entered the storehouse. I'll stop having club from now on. Huh? Why? I think we should leave her alone. Rika ended her sentence with such force that I couldn't say anything in response. Hey, Mayabara, how about you stop disobeying Rika right now? She's the only one who said she'll help me right now. I'm gonna leave these to her, just as he said. I mean, she even said that the cat should just keep meowing. Just forget everything, like she said. Leave everything to her, right? I'll forget everything about those two and what I did that night. Jesus! That's when we heard a bell far away, marking the end of the lunch break. We better get back to class. Keiichi. As if she had noticed how miserable I was, about to leave everything to her and flee the scene, she called out to stop me. If the misunderstanding dog comes to try to bite the cat, please tell me, okay? The misunderstanding dog. She put it in such a cute-sounding way, but the true meaning behind those words was an eerie one. Who is the dog? The dog that bit the mayor. I don't know why it did that. If it was going to bite anyone, it would have been the trickster cat first. The flow of blood in my body felt like it completely stopped for a moment. Rika had admitted it. The sacrifices of the terrible calamity. She admitted that if there were to happen again, it would be either me or Shion. This, I didn't know what was true about the girl standing before me. Suspicion gave way to fear, and it began to change to anger. Was she some savior protecting me? Or a stranger trying to capture and kill me for the sake of a horrible tradition? I have no idea what was true anymore. I'm sorry the cat is already scared, and I said something to scare it even more. I'm really sorry. She bowed so quickly it looked like her head had been pulled downward. She was right. I was cowering. I could distinctly feel my blood shaking violently. Body. Well, when Rika pulled her hand out to pat me, I pulled away without thinking. I'm sorry. She made a very sad face, but I just couldn't bring myself to put my head out for her. That day, she said she wasn't feeling up for club activities, so she just suggested we don't bother. There's always vetoes when someone doesn't feel up to it. Ren and the others seemed really disappointed. The big sister cat not in a good mood. I remember those words, and quietly stole a glance at Mion's expression. If I forget the way she pushed at me yesterday, though, her behavior was the same as it always was. After dinner, without the energy to watch TV, I climbed into the futon in my bedroom and let my head be overtaken by gloomy thoughts. I told her everything and everything. She had seemed trustworthy at the time, but had I really been the right choice? The more I looked back on it, the less I understood what she was saying. Not only did she know about Takano and Toмотake, but she spoke to them as if she were a concerned party. After all that time, at my futon, I began to tremble fiercely. Had I been lured in by Rika's sweet smile and told her things that I shouldn't? I should have continued to fake ignorance. I shouldn't have shown her such a weak side of me. My emotions are a mix of regret and fear, and they color the darkness of the night with an additional layer of terror. Jesus! Tanak! I might have yelped. That's how surprised I was. Keiichi, I've been calling your name for a while. You have a phone call from Asamasaki. Dad. I reached for the cordless phone through the gap of my door. Which one? Older sister or the younger one? I don't know. Ask her yourself. I took the receiver and buried myself in my futon. Hello? Mion or Shion? It's me, Shion. Good evening. I practically jumped. Shion! Why, I hoped so desperately they would have called me back last night. Oh, Shion, sorry about last night. I got riled up. I heard what sounded like a deep sigh on the other end. You and me are in the same position, aren't we? I shouldn't have blamed you for everything like that. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please cheer up. I called you because I'm in a better mood. If you're sorry, I'll forgive you. So stop apologizing. Her tone still sounded a little angry, but for the moment, she said she'd forgive me. You're right. We're tied to the same fate. Making sure the other is alright is the only way to guarantee our own safety. I agree. We absolutely need to share whatever information we have, so that we don't die like those two did. I forced myself to swallow a solid drop of saliva. We'll continue where we left off. You listen without getting angry this time, okay? Yeah, I'll be fine. Firstly, it seems sneaking into the ritual storehouse was more of a taboo than we thought. Takano and Tomataki's miserable deaths, terrible enough that you would call them a warning, they were more than enough to make me believe that. The culprits killed those two, the ones responsible for selling the storehouse, and they come for us next. I know you want to deny that, but accept it. It'll be too late to believe me after you disappeared, okay? I got it, you can never be too careful after all. I don't want to accept it either. They think that sneaking a peek at the museum of torture devices deserves a death like that. I don't want to believe it. That's what a taboo is. For those who honor it, if one breaks it, no matter how small or innocent, they won't be forgiven. We'll report anything we notice that seems strange. If we connect all the tiny pieces that we have, then maybe we'll find out who killed them, or maybe even the truth behind the incidents of the previous years. We could find the key that'll resolve everything. You're right. You're right about that. All I was doing was waiting in fear, but she had not already thought that far ahead. Given how trustworthy she felt, I became embarrassed over how passive I was being. The hour starts since I suggested it. I feel like someone has been watching me lately. What? It might have been my imagination, but I'll tell you anyway. I think it's just me. But if you feel like you've been watched too, Kate-chan, maybe it's not just my imagination. Don't worry, at the very least everything's been fine to me. I think. As I spoke with Shion, I thought back on today. I have no grounds to say that everything was fine. I see, then I suppose it was my imagination. But you be careful too, Kei-chan. Especially careful when you're out by yourself in public. I'm in Okinomiya. I won't be alone often, but you live in Hidimizawa. There will be a lot of times you will be left alone. Be extra careful. You're right. I'll be careful. About my sister. Has she been acting strange lately? Your sister? Oh, Mia, right. What do you mean by acting strangely? Well, yesterday she came to me asking me where I was on the night at the festival. She asked me too. The day before yesterday, I think. I see. I told her I wasn't there. What did you say? I did the same thing. I just dodged the question. They both gave a quiet sigh of relief. Ever since that night, my sister's been acting strangely. We can't be too careful, so just be aware, okay? Strange. Aside from her asking me about the night at the festival, she hasn't seemed too odd, out of the ordinary. At least from my point of view. Her twin sister, though, was saying she was acting weird. Maybe it was such a slight change that a stranger like me wouldn't be able to notice. Got it. I'll start being careful. I'll always have Rena with me on my way back to school, so I shouldn't end up alone with Mion often. So just be careful. If there's anything that's bothering you, tell me. Alright. Okay, is there anything you want to tell me, Kei-chan? Maybe I should report on Oishi. That time when you're too slow to escape? Oishi asked me pretty forcefully. whatever I was with talking with Tomataki that night, and whatever I was seeing you. He seemed to have seen the four of us together. From the police's point of view, that would make us the last people who have seen them. I suppose given that, it's only natural they'd be interested. I evaded the questions too, but that might have just made him more interested. No way I could have tricked that sly old fox. My trouble counted this would have only made him even more certain. Shion, since they're the police, shouldn't we just tell them? I mean, considering our situation, having them on our side would have been a good thing. She didn't answer right away. For a few moments, all I could hear was her breathing as she thought about it. Now that I think about it, I wish he said there was someone possibly shady about Mion. At least that's what I think he said. Yeah, he definitely did. As I explained yesterday, the Sonozaki family had a lot of influence over Hinamizawa. Oishi is under the impression that the whole village, with the Sonozaki family at the center of all, is responsible for the recurrent freak deaths. The whole village is behind him with the Sonozaki family? Don't get angry like you did yesterday, and just listen. I hammered that home before I got too upset. During the Hinamizawa Dam Wars, the priest who everyone was anticipating to lead the anti-dam movement acted as though he was unrelated, so the Sonozaki main house rose up to take charge. My sister told you about the battles that happened, right? All the Hinamizawa got together and fought as one. They held protests, brought it to court, appeared on TV. In reality, there were many things that happened that were far from moving stream. Under the surface, the main house was doing all sorts of illegal things to oppose it. Illegally. For example, they snuck into the construction site in the middle of the night and stolen equipment, break it, or put sugar cubes in the gasoline tanks of the construction vehicles. Sugar? Why would they? You don't know? Practically the representative guerrilla tactic, used underground organizations in France and World War II do this. When you put sugar in it, the engine will burn out and break down. Pretty bad, isn't it? Destruction of property and nothing less. When they beefed up the guard at the construction facility, the family turned to attacking important construction personnel. The government officials who had given permission for the construction example received all kinds of threats, not just people from the prefectural office. Apparently, this reached as far as the Ministry of Construction. As far as I've heard, they even kidnapped a child once. Wait, they kidnapped? Yes, the child of an important person in the Ministry of Construction who was in charge of the Hinamizawa Dam got spirited away. Then one day, all of a sudden, he was rescued in the Tatsuo Mountains, upstream from Hinamizawa. Apparently, there were never any criminal accusations, but people whispered that it had been a threat to stop the dam construction from happening. Besides that, there were stories about so many different threats, I couldn't possibly list them all. That's sort of bad, isn't it? Right in the middle of the whole thing, the first incident happened. That's when the dismemberment of the construction manager occurred. People whispered that the Sonozaki family had brought out the principal offender, but of course he fled and still haven't found him. When she put it that way, they definitely seem suspicious. Oishi even seems to think that the criminal was erased so he wouldn't talk, which was pretty reasonable. It's even enough to make me think the Sonozaki main house could be doing some really shady things behind the scenes, even though we're unrelated to them. So you're expecting me to believe that? That the Sonozaki, where Mion lives, they've done all those bad things and you're telling me to believe it? Even if you do, John, the villagers do. While they oppose the dam in upright and lawful ways, the Sonozaki house did the dirty work for them. Everyone believes that they fought the front, so they take the brunt of the criticism. So they're respected as some sort of heroes of darkness. I think I only really know one part of it. For example, the really bad stuff like the kidnapping, I think only a handful of people even know about it, including Grandma. The Sonozaki family is secretive after all. Secretive, huh? A family so unknown and forthcoming that even Shion, who is related to them, doesn't know everything about them. It's a Sonozaki family. Unlike Shion, her older twin, Mion, was deeply involved with everything. Not a fun thought to entertain. My sister, though young, was the one who acted as the center of the illegal resistance movement. Wait. What do you mean? Our dad is a big shot Yakuza. Even when she was little, my sister managed to subjugate a bunch of young street brats. Then she played all sorts of tricks on them and just generally got in their way. She did that? Now she's pretty laid back, so it might be hard to imagine. They put her in charge of everything from property damage to threats and even acts of violence. Though she still was a kid, they get her released pretty easily. She learned that her age could be used as a weapon. It might have been indiscreet, but I couldn't help but chuckle. She may have been young, but she was certainly still Mion. Even back then, she had already been known for her craftiness. It's nothing to laugh about. Take this seriously. Sorry, I didn't mean to. She got pretty mad at me. Well, her delinquency soon got her into a position of authority in the Sonozaki main house. It's not unthinkable that Oishi suspects them for the dismemberment incident, and the later ones. For a few moments, I was dumbstruck at the tales of Mion's past. None of them matched the image I had of her. A younger Mion dirtying her hands with all sorts of crimes, giving the dam construction project hell. As a successor to the Sonozaki main family, she was always right at the center of the vortex of strange incidents occurring year after year. Was that really the Mion I knew? Maybe the one I know. Maybe it isn't a real one. I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't bring myself to accept these images of Mion that I was hearing from another person. Back to the main subject. I just wanted you to know that my sister is someone worth being cautious around. Please be careful. I didn't want to understand. Mion was a fantastic friend. She couldn't do something to bag me into a corner like that. She did ask me pretty harshly about the night of the festival, but even that, it was like she said she said it in a mean way or anything, you know? Can I even English today? Sorry, it's just... Alright, I'll make sure to be careful. We're sisters related by blood, but within the Sonozaki family, we're basically of a different class. I want you to recognize how distant they are from me. Please. The more she tells me about Mion, the less I understand who Mion is. The Mion I know wasn't such a dangerous person. She joked around, smiled a lot, full of passion. But now that I realized that I held such a view towards her, she was telling me to change it. To be careful. Around the best friend ever. To doubt her. The idea was sad and painful. About Oishi. If you think it's a good idea, then I think we should give him the information he needs. Getting the police on our side will work in our favor. So you thought so too, Shion? Just at the moment, like I explained, the police have their eyes on the Sonozaki family already. Oishi in particular completely believes that they were the masterminds behind these serial incidents. That includes me, of course. So I really don't want much to do with Oishi. If Oishi had found out about the Sonozaki family's strife-filled history, he probably wouldn't be happy with Shion either. At last I understand Mion's instinctive dislike for Oishi. It's probably out in the open at this point, but try not to give my name to him. If you agree to that, I don't think it's a problem with you telling him anything. Alright, I won't mention them. The police and investigative ability should be quite a reliable weapon for us. If Oishi tells you anything interesting, let me know. Of course, we'll share information, and we'll investigate together. Who killed Takano and Tomatake? Who was after us? Until we know, we need to defend ourselves. Anything else? Besides what Oishi told you, I mean? If anything has happened, no matter how minor, please tell me. Aside from my discussion with Oishi? Oh. Should I tell her that I revealed everything to Rika? Rika was acting like she knew something. I didn't. She told me to leave it to her, but what? That's right. When I was talking to her, I mentioned Shion's name. Was that a mistake? I felt like she would get angry. Nothing else, Kei-chan? I remained quiet for a little while, so she encouraged me to speak, unable to bear the silence. As I struggled with what to say, she addressed me instead. Doesn't sound like it, so can I ask you something? I heard this myself. Is it true that Ome Kamiyoshi went missing? The Ome Kamiyoshi? My cut told me it was the name of the mayor. You mean the mayor? Wait, you haven't heard? I don't know anything. I just overheard my dad talking about it. I realized I shouldn't have said that. Here, things that happen around this time when Orishira's curse would occur. Will all be covered up. Yeah, actually, last night after a meeting, he didn't come home. So all of Himizawa was confused. They searched all through the village, but if they found him, then I haven't heard. The police should be searching as well. Why didn't you tell me something that important right away? She shouted angrily at me, bringing all her emotion to bear. Sorry, I thought you already knew, goddammit! I didn't want her to hide! The receiver was silent. Did she get mad again and hang up? Shion? Hello? Kei-chan? What should I do? Her tiny, confused voice sounded like it belonged to a different person than the one yelling just a few seconds ago. What's wrong? Tell me. We're not keeping secrets from each other, right? She hesitated for a long while, but she confessed. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hide it. It was just that, well, the conversation got turned around and... We're on the same side, right? I won't get mad. Tell me, honestly. She hesitated. Then in a resigned voice she continued. Ome Kamiyoshi. I told him everything. Shion seemed to think that I would yell at her right after she said that, so I heard her catching her breath. Contrary to what she thought, I was a little relieved. Shion had done the same thing I had when confessing everything to Rika. So in a gentle voice as I could, so as to not start her off, I responded. Ome Kamiyoshi, he's someone you felt comfortable confiding in, was he? Sorry. Yes, he would when I was little. He was really nice to me. She felt the same pain as the rest of us from the mayor's disappearance. She had a different kind of strength from me on, and as she continued, her voice was truly sad and pained. All I did was play tricks on him, but he would always just smile. He listened to anything I had to say. He was such a kind person. Calm down, Shion. It's not like he's dead, right? Don't lose heart so easily. She didn't answer. Even as I said it myself, I didn't think we'd ever find the missing mayor again. We probably wouldn't even figure out if he was alive or dead. She must have been thinking the same thing. That night, I told the mayor that we snuck into the ritual storehouse and that someone saw us and was out to get us. Does the mayor how absurdly Takano and Tawataki died? Yeah, he knew about it. I told him that they died by Arashi's curse and I could be made a sacrifice to calm his anger. I just said it straight out. Right, what then? Old man didn't get angry. He smiled and told me if I was properly sorry, there's no way I'd be demoned away. He was really smiling, and he told me to leave it to him. Until Shion stopped sobbing, I was unable to find any words. I couldn't imagine what kind of person the mayor was, nor what Shion's relationship with him was like. Words of comfort, however, meant so much to us when we were about to be crushed by the woes of anxiety. Today Rika taught me that if someone who gave me such a sense of security were to disappear, then I could guess what kind of shock Shion was in. It's my fault because I revealed everything. Stop it, Shion. It's not your fault. No, it's my fault. I told him everything. Old man Kamiyoshi found out about everything. He hadn't been killed. It was right after I told him, after all. He disappeared the same night I confessed and told me everything was going to be alright. He found out. So he became involved. I should never have told him. Oh, this should have been just our fault, only the four of us. It wasn't something I should have told to someone else. He got killed because they told him. He got killed because he knew. He got killed because I revealed it. Okay, stop. If they were doing that, they would have obviously been killed you before killing the mayor. The order is all wrong. You and I should have been killed first. Why the hell would someone else get killed first? No, it's in order. They plan to kill us last. What? They're not killing the first people who come to mind. They start killing by those we were close to. And then after they cause us so much pain, they'll end us. That must be what they're doing. Calm down, Shion. You're in shock. You're panicking. The mayor's disappearance has nothing to do with you. It's unconnected. Not related to Tagano or Tomataki dying at all. Like words came out as a scream, as if I were shouting them at myself. No, it's connected. It just has to be. I told him. He was killed. He got killed because he knew. I confessed to him. He got killed. She repeated the same thing as before, as though she was in delirium. Despite my trying to console her, for some reason the shadow on my feet began to freeze. From that shadow, a cold arm reached out, so cold it seemed like it would freeze even my heart just by touching me and grab my ankle. The heat generated by my body, the arm was absorbing it. A horrible chill, a freezing cold, numbing frigid. It was an inviolable chill of fear. Though I sympathized with her, I become naive in thinking it was something only she had to worry about. In my head, her eerie words repeat again and again. He was killed because I told him. He was killed because he found out. I confessed everything, so he was killed. Those words echoed through my head like a monotone mantra, and finally those even repetitions told meaning. The quiet shake it had already overtaken me, turned into a violent shiver that shot up my spine. Rika-chan! It's Rika-chan! What? What did you say? The truth is, I told her about it. I told Rika-chan today. Rika-chan? You mean Rika-chama, the one from the Furuni Shrine? Yes, sir. I felt so scared and uneasy that I did it. I told her. What did she say? The cat is worrying too much. I'll do something about it for sure. That's what Rika said, and she smiled. She smiled, just like the missing mayor had when he encouraged Shion. I'm sorry, Shion. I'm a bit worried about Rika. Right. If you're that concerned, don't worry about me. Go find out whether she's safe. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll call you again tomorrow at the same time. When I do, you'll know I'm still alright. I got it. I'll be waiting. Bye. Sorry. I'm hanging up. I put down the receiver without waiting for Shion to say goodbye. The danger to Shion and myself was secondary. My sixth sense was blaring alarms in my head. I didn't like this feeling. It's really bad. It's definitely bad. Damn it, please be safe. Rika-chan. More tips. From the scrapbook. Takano's scrapbook. As previously described, the Three Families Council today is a mere shell of democracy. In reality, it's a dictatorship run by the Sonozaki family. Both the Kimiyoshi and Furude families are far from their former glory, and it doesn't seem at all like they have maintained the ancient traditions. Only the Sonozaki family has retained their glory from the past and has inherited many colorful traditions from the age known as Onikafuchi village. Even the most recent variable example of Watanagashi that occurred at the end of the Meiji era seems to have been done under the orders of the Sonozaki family. Please refer to the three families genealogy tree from the late Meiji. After the start of the Meiji era, the Sonozaki family wanted to push the development of Hinamizawa village, so they took a strong role in leadership. During the Dan Wars a few years ago, the Kimiyoshi family served as the chair of the opposition alliance, but this was a name only. In actuality, the family reigned as the leader behind the scenes. People whispered that perhaps the Kimiyoshi family dictated the acts of opposition that could be publicized, and the Sonozaki family enacted those which couldn't. Even in Hinamizawa, they whispered that the multitude of unsettling incidents reported during the dam protest, such as the kidnapping of the famous head of the Ministry of Construction's son, had been carried out by the Sonozakis. Additionally, they said that perhaps the Sonozaki family's secret maneuvering was responsible for the serial freak death incidents that have continuously occurred in recent years. The serial freak death incidents are without a doubt the second coming of the traditional Watanagashi. They must be enacting the Watanagashi on the day of the original one, which had fallen to the level of an ordinary village festival, in order to remind the villagers of the holy laws of Onikafuchi village. It is safe to assert that exploring the Sonozaki family is the fastest route for researching it. If I expose the contents of the Furude Shrine storehouse, I like to narrow my research target to the Sonozaki family. The house is strictly guarded by security cameras on the premises, but thankfully I become acquainted with the sisters Mion, the next heir, and Shion. I want this to be a breakthrough I can connect to my next line of research. And then you fucking croaked! No, don't worry about it. You see, when you order the Odin here, for some reason it ends up on the annual invoice for our gas contract, so don't be shy and have a drink. The man in red face waved his hand and said he had enough, disappeared into the brilliant neon lights in front of the station. Guma, you should be taking notes. The most modest people are the ones who live the longest. Was all that true? Well, I don't know about that. Whether or not it's true, I think there's meaning in hearing something that sounds so plausible. Wouldn't someone like that be a motive to go for the mayor? Guma, here's what I always say. The motive has only had to be enough for the person in question. You need to think about how different people value different things. Hey bartender, give me another mug. Though we have been suppressing the information, Tomitaki and Takano's deaths were already known. All the rumors pointed to them having occurred the wrath of Oishiro-sama for setting foot in the Forbidden Temple, the storehouse for ritual implements. According to the rumors, there were two other people who were with them, a Shion Sonozaki and a Kaiichi Maibara. People were whispering in the shadows that those two would be cursed. Apparently, however, the responsibility didn't fall solely on the forced trespasser's shoulders. Until last year, it was locked up tight, but this year had been changed to a simpler lock. Had that been what allowed thieves to enter easily? Those were the rumors going around. Have you ever seen it? I remember her well. I had to go there for something quite a while back. I don't really remember. It was locked up so tight it was scary. There were those really heavy bars holding it shut. It was sealed up as good as a bank vault. It was a very simple and cheap padlock. The lone girl protecting the shrine disliked heavy locks and consulted with the mayor, who had replaced it with a simple padlock. So the mayor and Rika shared the crime? Then after the mayor, wouldn't Rika be in danger? That's a decent possibility, Kuma. I want you to contact all the cards we have. Tell them to stick near the Furude Shrine. Got it. So, it seems this is not over yet, but for some odd reason, instead of us, other people are getting involved. This is gonna end very horribly, I can tell.